Good morning, Mr. Afamodo.
Good morning, sir, and good morning, my viewers.
Okay, our viewers around the world is yet another interview. And we're kicking off with this question. So, to bring more clarity, Mr. Afamodo, you told us in the last interview how Almighty Creator told you or came to you in trance that you've not known Him yet, while you are deeply born again, and it becomes a major issue of concern to you and to us now hearing it for the first time now or second time. Could you please tell us how you got to know Him more and convince us about your calling?
Thank you. It's a nice question. It's a long story, actually. It started way back in 1996. I took the message of grace verbatim and run wild with it. But the Almighty, in His infinite mercy, allowed the devil to strike me with mental ill health. Uh, what is this message about? The message of grace. In Galatians chapter 5, verse 1, it says, "Stand fast, therefore, in the liberty wherewith Christ hath made us free, and be not entangled again with the yoke of bondage." You know, you know, Liberty or grace actually means freedom from the law. The law of Moses, actually. And St. Paul, in another place, said that justification, you know, comes not by keeping of the law, but by faith in Christ Jesus. And anyone that tries to be justified by the keeping of the law is cut off from Christ and no longer under God's grace. So, in that 1996, after that incident of ill health, I was shipped from Jos to Enugu Psychiatric Hospital. I was in the hospital for about 2 weeks when two lady evangelists stepped into the hall. And when they did, they were looking around, and then when they sighted me, they were like, "Yes, look at him." Meaning that actually these people were sent for a purpose, and they got to me and said that the Lord sent them to me, that He cares about me, that I should be careful so that I don't find myself in a worse situation than this. After the administration, I shed tears. I was like, "Lord, I thought I was drawing close to you. I thought I was seeking you. I thought I was trying to know you, in accordance with." I was like, I thought I was seeking you. I thought I was trying to know you, But then, as it happened, after the administration, I got well again. I got to understand that something was wrong with me, and I got well again. Then they came back again about a week later and then told me that the Lord wants to use me as an instrument in His hand to do His work. But then I told them, yes, I know He wants to use me. And then they instructed me, seriously, they told me I should not start until He instructs me. I should not start until He commissions me for that work, And then they added that I should not, if I hear anything, I should ask who is speaking before I say it, So the instruction was that I shouldn't start until I was commissioned. And it became a source of worry to me because other Christians are preaching. Why shouldn't I preach? I'm born again. Why shouldn't I preach? I didn't know He was trying to stop me from preaching the same error message other Christians were preaching, and that was it, After that incident, I gained admission in the University of Benin, And then uh, I was walking, walking on the campus one evening or so, and somebody I saw around, came to me and then asked me a question. Asked me, which of the fivefold ministries do you operate? I told him teaching ministry. He encouraged me, he encouraged me, encouraged me in the work, And then after that, another thing happened on campus that was during when I was rounding up my program in the university. Someone came to our department, a stranger, a complete stranger, came for something else entirely. And then he left where he was, he approached me and told me that the kind of glory he saw on me was too great. You know, I smiled because I knew where he was headed. I knew I was called for a purpose. And then he encouraged me, I appreciated that. Okay. After that, I left school after my graduation. I went to see my cousin. I went to visit my cousin. In his room, I was watching a television. There was one other guy there too. And at some point, he took an excuse and lowered the TV set and told me that he saw something about me. That I shouldn't bother worry myself or disturb myself about things that might have transpired in the past, in my life. That the future, held a great thing for me. He encouraged me. And then that was it. I moved on. And then after that, two pastors in a Dominion City where I later, joined, encouraged me. One said, his name, Pastor C, the pastor of the church, told me that I'm a voice, but there is something that's been tried to stop it in the past, that he could see, he made decrees, that that stuff that's trying to stop it will no longer, hold me bound, And then another pastor that was invited for that program, currently he's serving in Uganda, Pastor Francis. He said that people, okay, that part actually, I wouldn't want to make it public for now, but he showed me some, he told me some interesting things, some marvelous things that's going to happen to me, in the future. And it was about the same ministry. I didn't know, I didn't see it this way anyway. And then that was it. When I came to Lagos, someone gave me a lift, and we saw another day. He started sharing similar thing to me, that he saw a glory in me that very day he carried me. I was like, wow, this glory, it has kept on coming and coming and coming. And then, and as the Almighty will have it, a year later, I had a terrible accident. A car struck me, hit me from behind. I landed with my chest, hit the curb, on the road with my chest. In fact, I actually broke when I was trying to, when it hit me, I actually broke the windscreen with my elbow, and it got my elbow torn. Blood was pouring out on it. But despite hitting my bone on the curb and breaking the windscreen with my elbow, none of my bones broke, showing the handwork of God and the definitive, how definite the purpose of God in my life is meant to be. So, and that was it. So, talking about being called, after that incident, there is something again that happened, and that was about 3 years ago, and it has to do with the commissioning for this work. What really happened? It was a dream. The commissioning happened in a dream. I was in a commercial vehicle, the driver was supposed to be holding the steering, but ironically, he was reading a road safety manual. I wasn't even looking straight on the road. His eyes was focused on the book he was reading. And then I was like, what's wrong? Why can't this man do the right thing? Before you know it, the vehicle started veering off the road. And then I started calling his attention, but he ignored me. Even the passengers didn't even bother. They were like cool with what the driver or the man of God is, doing. Reading from the same Bible they were given to read, because that's what that roof safety manual represented. You know, you know, they trusted what he was doing. They didn't bother. Before I knew it, the vehicle was about plunging into the river. I had no choice than to break the windscreen, the side mirror, and jump out. The vehicle plunged into the river, and all of them got drowned. I was the only survivor. That was when the call started. So regarding your question, was I called? Yes, I was called. And for this purpose, the purpose to preach the truth, which most Christians are not aware of. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your time. Then our second question goes, how many churches have you attended?
This is a very good question. At some point in my life, some people started telling me that that I'm involved in church prostitution because I've actually moved. I've actually moved from churches to churches. Yes, I started with a white garment church called the Gate of Salvation. Then moved over to Assemblies of God Church. From Assemblies of God Church, I joined CFI, that is Church of God Mission on Campus, actually called Christian Fellowship International. Okay. After my graduation from University of Benin, I joined RCCG. I left RCCG for some reasons I wouldn't want to mention now. Okay, and then joined Dominion City. From Dominion City, something funny started playing out for some reason. I was seeking the truth.
Sorry, excuse me to call you off. We want you to give us the time frame, time duration
Okay.
of each place you are at a particular
I
time.
might not be exact, but then I will try. The first church I attended, which is the Gate of Salvation, I was born into it, kind of. I grew up and then I got born again while I was in that church. But when I started seeing certain things, I felt like, oh, this is not how it should be. I made up my mind that I was going to move. Then I moved to Assemblies. I was in Assemblies for about maybe 5 years or so. Okay, between 3 and 5 years or so before I left Assemblies. And then when I joined campus, I decided to join CFI because already Assemblies, there were certain things I was seeing that I wasn't really comfortable with. Remember, I was seeking the truth. That's the essence of the movement. You saw me move. Okay, so I joined CFI, Church of God Mission on Campus. I was in CFI for about 4 years, so I was with Church of God Mission on Campus for about 4 years. And then Redeem, when I joined Redeem, maybe 2 years. I was there for maybe 2-3 years before I left and joined Dominion City. Dominion City, I think I stayed in Dominion City for about 2 or 1 year, a year or two, and then moved to House on the Rock Church in Enugu. In the House on the Rock Church, interestingly. And before I moved, when I was seeking for a place, I was actually directed in a dream to House on the Rock. I was told there was a program being organized there. I never knew there was a Bible school there. So there was a Bible school I attended while in a House on the Rock Church. I think that was around 2016, And then I left House on the Rock about 2 years later to Lagos. House on the Rock, Enugu, to House on the Rock, Lagos. And then in Lagos, I was there for about a year or two before COVID, about 2 years before COVID struck, you know. And then lockdown. After lockdown, I came back a little while, one or two, and then that was it. I joined another church, you know, and that was Elevation. From Elevation, I didn't worship in Elevation up to a year, I think 6 months or thereabout. And then I joined Foursquare. Foursquare. You know, then I was already not getting serious with Christianity because I was already studying and discovering some errors and all that, you know. And then eventually I went back to Elevation again, you know, just briefly. But then something remarkable happened. I was in Elevation, you know, and then this thing happened. It was already obvious to me that what people, Christians, worship in the name of Jesus is actually not what we think it is. Jesus means Hail Zeus. So the worship of Jesus is erroneous. You don't worship Jesus. They told us that Jesus is God. Actually, who they killed was Yeshua, a man. And then they decided to give the name of their God, which is Jesus, or Jesus, or Jesus, which means Hail Zeus. You know, they decided to christen him Jesus. You know, Jesus is a Greek name. It's not a Hebrew name. Okay, it's not a Jewish name. So how could a Jew be given a Greek name? So that name means Hail Zeus. When you worship Jesus, you worship Zeus. I'm going to give you more, or this is going to form. I'm going to give you in my subsequent in the subsequent episode. I will take this discourse further, you know, to make you understand better.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Wow, you've actually been around.
Thank you.
Okay, based on that, say bye bye to our viewers and your last word to our viewers.
Okay. Hello, viewers. Thank you for your time and thank you for listening. Just stick around. Stick around. There are a lot of crazy things you're going to hear. It's a promise. Just get ready. Get ready. I'll be available to answer all your questions as much as I can. You know, just come with your doubts, come with your questions. I'll make sure I give you a good answer. Thank you.
This is where we'll draw the curtain for today's interview. Thank you, our viewers from around the world. Mr. Afamodo, it's been nice having you around.
Thank you, Akachuku, for